Okay, now we're going to take a look at the War of 1812. Our second, some people call this our second or the follow-up fight for independence. So we're going to examine the major events leading up to the War of 1812. How was the U.S. able to profit from a war between England and France? Well, the U.S. merchants profited by selling goods to both the British and the French. So here's Great Britain and France. They're always constantly fighting, and over here is the United States. So he says, "I hate you, French dude." He says, "Au revoir, has place." As you know, I'm not much of a French speaker. And here's your American merchant willing to make money. So the Americans would trade with both the British and the French, and they would never pick sides. So you boys can keep on killing each other. If either y'all need anything, just give us Yankees a holler over here. Okay, but if you're selling to the enemy, they're going to stop merchants from selling to the enemy. So in 1803, Britain and France went to war yet again. Both countries seized U.S. ships sailing toward the ports of their enemy. So the United States now is either going to go neutral or have to pick a side. And when they pick a side, that means they're going to be entering war. And that was going to be rough for our little independent baby nation. And war is never good. So Britain continued its impressment of U.S. sailors. And in between 1808 and 1811, over 6,000 Americans were impressed by the British. And what that means is our sailors were taken and forced into the British Navy. So, "Mr. President, the British and French keep seizing American merchant ships. Something must be done." President Thomas Jefferson: "I know what to do. If we don't allow American ships to trade with anyone, then we can't get attacked." Okay, I mean, well, that's a decision, but the merchants aren't going to like that one. That's true, but Mr. President, that's not what I had in mind. Okay, I hope the Embargo Act doesn't make me grow broke. So the President Jefferson, during his second term, passes the Embargo Act, which banned U.S. ships from trading with any country. So now the United States isn't able to trade with anybody. All imports and exports were banned. This hurt the U.S. economy majorly. And you have the Non-Intercourse Act, which means trade with nations was allowed except for Britain and France. But Britain and France were the big money makers. So Thomas Jefferson and his acts here are becoming very unpopular. And you have people in Congress, and if you're considered a hawk in Congress, that means you're for war. A dove would be peace. But war hawks are members of Congress led by Henry Clay in Kentucky. They wanted to declare war on Great Britain. Now, a new term here, nationalism, means pride or devotion in one's country, nationalism. Many Americans felt that Great Britain still treated the United States like a British colony. Just can't get any respect. Also, revenge. War hawks want revenge on Britain for seizing American ships and forcing people into impressment. You have territorial expansion, or trying to get more land. Henry Clay wanted to this is an excuse to conquer all of Canada from Great Britain, and also get Florida from Spain, so adding more territory to the United States. Also to stop Native American attacks, because war hawks felt that Great Britain was arming Native Americans on the frontier and encouraging them to attack Americans. All right, the Prophet and Tecumseh. The Prophet here believed that in order to survive, Native Americans had to give up white ways of life. And Tecumseh unified many tribes behind the message of the Prophet, who was his older brother. Okay, in 1808, the Prophet built a village for his followers in Tippecanoe, Indiana. So we're kind of close. This is kind of in our area here. We're down here in Mount Carmel, but it's Vincennes. And up here is Tippecanoe, Indiana. And we have a showdown at Tippecanoe in 1811. Fearful of growing strength of the Prophet and Tecumseh, Governor William Henry Harrison led 1,000 troops against them in the Battle of Tippecanoe, and that's one of Indiana's more famous people in Harrison. So like Harrison High School in Evansville, probably named after William Henry Harrison. The battle was viewed by Americans as a major victory, even though it was unclear which side actually won. All right. Later, William Henry Harrison would become president, but not for long.